starting that, some people use heating pads on the low setting. Cover it with a towel or something and put your seeds on that. You don't want to cook your seeds. You don't want to get them too hot.
I use an old electric blanket on the low and just put heavy plastic over it so I wouldn't get wet. It worked.
So then you want to watch your seeds daily for them to germinate. And as soon as they germinate, you want to remove the cover and move them to the lights. They need bright light once they germinate. And they also need the cover off. So, then you can, after like the cool type plants like cabbage and broccoli or kale, if they're starting then, those are like cool, cold weather crops. They like cooler temperatures. You don't want to use this heating mat with them. You want to move them to a cooler spot. They can take the cooler temperatures. And you want to keep your seedlings watered. You don't want to overwater them. You know, you can let them dry out a little bit, but the seedlings are really tender. If they dry out completely, they might not come back from it. So you need to keep them watered. Then you want to watch for damping off.
Yeah, I was going to say, watering, it's really best if you water the tray. You know, if it's in a tray, you put the water in the tray and let it soak up. And then after 10 minutes, you got water poured off.
Yeah, like bottom watering.
Yeah. Because then you don't get the leaves all wet. Okay, watch for damping off. When seedlings fall over at the soil line, they're being attacked by this fungus disease. Treat immediately to prevent the spread. If only a few are affected, you may be able to dig out the affected seedlings. If scattered throughout, you may drench the entire flat with the fungicide. You know, if you've got these special seeds you don't have any more of that you want to, try to save. Otherwise, I wouldn't even mess with it. I just pitch it out and start over. High temperature, poor light, and overwatering contribute to the spread by weakening the seedlings in the first place. So best control is cleanliness and prompt action when the disease appears. Now, growing seedlings. You have three main points. You have light, temperature, and moisture. Watering. Light, the seedlings need bright light. If you have a south window, that is great. If you don't, just a northern or any other, if you don't have a southern window, you really need to get some sort of extra lighting. Fluorescent lights, you need to have them on for 14 to 16 hours a day. As seedlings grow, raise the lights to prevent leaf burn, and lights should be 3 to 4 inches above the seedling. So you start really close, and then as they start growing, that way they don't get all spindly. You want them good and husky. Okay, temperature. Most annual flowers and vegetables prefer cooler night temperatures like 60s. Moisture and watering, good air humidity lets plants dry. Let your plants dry between watering. Not totally dry, but do not allow them to wilt. But then don't overwater so they're dripping. You don't want them that way. Air movement. There's always some sort of a breeze outside. So if you put a little fan close to your seedlings, it's just like the natural wind outside, and it will stimulate them to grow healthier, to grow sturdier, because they're fighting against that breeze. In general, seedlings should receive roughly 14 to 16 hours of light a day when situated in a south-facing window. This can be very difficult, but that's where we come into artificial lights, and you see that's what Kathy's got over there. Many people make the mistake of leaving their seedlings under fluorescent lighting 24 hours a day. This does not make them grow faster. It can actually hinder their growth because they should have a dark period too, just daylight and nighttime in order to thrive. So it's back to you, Kathy. We're almost done.
So I'm going to talk a little about supplemental lighting and lighting requirements. We could spend the whole hour on lighting, like what type of light is best for plants. But when looking at grow lights, the most important factors to look at are the Kelvin and the lumen capacities. Kelvin describes the color temperature of the light source, and seeds require a minimum of 5,000 Kelvin. Lumens refers to the brightness of the light emitted. The more lumens, the brighter and more powerful the light is. Vegetable seedlings and other full-sun plants require about 2,000 to 3,000 lumens at minimum per square foot of growing space. A standard fluorescent T8 bulb, two standard fluorescent T8 bulbs together will produce about 3,000 lumens. 4,000 Kelvin, which is sufficient for a single standard tray of seeds. Usually it's recommended to hang high output LED lights at least a foot or higher over the plants. If they are too close, the LED lights can and will burn your plants, known as light burn and akin to human sunburn. Follow manufacturer's instructions or recommendations with your light source. Grow lights can be really expensive, but shop lights will work. When we lived in Pikeville, Kentucky, and I had a basement there, I started all my seeds in the basement under 2 shop lights. So it's just make sure you check your package for the light output. You may need more of the shop lights than you would some of these LED lights, the newer lights, but they will work and they are cheaper. And turn your plants often because your plants will grow towards the light. Okay, now a lot of people want to know, should I add fertilizer to my seedlings? No. You do not need to add fertilizer at this point in the soil that the seeds are started in. You want to avoid it really because fertilizer can burn fragile seeds and seedlings, inhibiting or killing growth. Seeds are amazing little things, and they contain all the nutrients needed to allow the seed to germinate or sprout and grow for at least the first 2 weeks of life. Thank you. Hope you all enjoyed this. Hope you learned something. Any questions? Yeah, we got stuff. Y'all feel free to come up and feel the dirt and look at the stuff up here. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Any questions? We were that thorough. Hey,